Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a spreadsheet form that you can both receive online work from students and then send them email feedback, whether it be just feedback or grades, whatever, all from the same spreadsheet. So we're going to be working with a Google Docs form and the associated spreadsheet that goes along with it. And we're going to be adding to that spreadsheet what's called a script, which is in a sense a miniature program that does something with the data on the spreadsheet. In this case, send email messages to all of the students who used it to submit their work. Missions from one of my classes. Very simple. When the student goes to it, they have a text box here that they can enter the URL of their project, so it needs to be stored in a YouTube channel or a Dropbox account, any web accessible thing that they can copy and paste the URL to the project, and then a field for where they type in their name or what's the subject of the particular assignment is. Now here's this associated spreadsheet. So when I open it, you've got in the first column a timestamp when they sent it in. The second column is their email address because I set the form up to collect those when they send it in. This third column is the URL that they entered, and this fourth column is just the name of the project that they entered. So what I want to be able to do is to go in here, follow these links, look at their project, and then give them some feedback or a grade on their project. So the process would work like this. Over here in the next two columns, I'm going to put first their email address and then the message I want to send them. Then I'm going to use this script to actually send those messages out. So the first thing I'm going to do is just transfer their email address over to here. So I'm going to click on this first cell in this column here, and I'm going to start with equals, and then I'm going to go back to where their email address was and click on that cell that their email address was in. Hit return. So that's now puts whatever's in this cell over into this one. So I want that for all of these, so I'm just going to click on it and do copy, drag down over this other cells that I want it to be in, and do paste. So now I've got all of their email addresses over in this next column. And then in the next column over, I can put the messages that I want to send. So in this case, I'll just do a generic one since I'm actually going to send this to real students. Ignore this message, just testing. And I'm going to copy that down. Now, normally what you'd want to do is, you go in and look at the project and decide what you want to put in there and put anything you want in this particular cell, and that'll be the thing that ends up getting sent to these kids. So now I need to install a script to actually run this. Now, I've given you that script on the page that you used to get here, so I'm just going to first drag over all this stuff from where it says function send emails down to this last second curly bracket and copy that and go back to my spreadsheet. I'm going to use the tools menu and do script editor. That's going to open up, and up here where the name is, you want to put in a name. I already got one in there. It's called send email script. Doesn't really matter what it is. And then I'm going to go into this side here and paste in that script. Now there may be a couple lines of code here already. You can just delete those and paste that script in there. Now the trick here is you have to make this script work with the way you've got your particular spreadsheet set up. So there's a couple things you have to change. You're going to have to change this, which is the first row that you're starting in. This, which is the number of rows that you want to process, and then this, which will determine which columns get used for the data. So let's go back and take a look at the spreadsheet again. So in this case, I want to use the second row, and I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things. And this email address is in column E, so that's A, B, C, D, E, the fifth column, and then the message is in the sixth column. Alright, so now we go back to our script. So I'm going to bring its window back to the front, and we change these things to match what we're trying to do in this particular spreadsheet. So here, for start row, we're actually starting in row number 2. The second row of the spreadsheet. That first row is for headings. The number of rows we're going to process is 11, so I put that there. And then in this line, this first number is the column that we're going to start in. So it was E, so A, B, C, D, E, that's 5. And then the next one over is 6, that's the one that's got the message that we're going to send. Now there's one more thing we need to change, and that's down here. This will be the subject line in the email that gets sent out. So since I'm sending this to real students, I'm just experimenting. I'm just going to leave this where it says test from Word throw out, but you can just highlight this text and change this to be whatever you want the subject line of the email to be. So I've got that all done, and I'm going to come over here and do File, Save. So now that's saved, and if I want to actually run this, I'm going to come up here to the Run menu and do Send Emails. Now the first time I use it, it's going to give me this little screen that I have to authorize this. So I'm going to authorize it. And it says now I can run the script. So I come back here one more time, do Run, Send Emails, and my email should be sent. So just to check that, this first one I had sent to myself. So if I go back to my inbox, I should within moments get my email, and there it is. So here's the email that got sent to me. The heading of the subject is Test from Word Throw Out, and the subject in the email is Ignore This, just testing. So if you want to do this in the future then without installing the script for the first time, you just come over here to the Tools menu, do Script Editor. That brings this window back up. It loads that script back in, and you can just do Run and then run that particular script. So this is a real nice way to collect projects from kids, have them all in the same place, and you can get to every single one of them because they're all linked, and then be able to, with this same form, send them all back some kind of feedback, a grade, whatever it takes.